So we are moving on to our teeth and lips section. So a lot of times, depending on the makeup that your client may come in with, it may not photograph true to the color that it actually is. So for this example, we had some lipstick that was a little bit iridescent, and because of that, the saturation of the lip color actually didn't photograph true to form. So I want to bring back some of that color in the lips and just make them look a little bit more saturated. So we've got our image here of our beautiful model, and what I want to do is I want to find my brush that is Lips Pink Regular. Here it is, right here. And so with this brush, I'll go ahead and zoom in so that you guys can see the changes that I made. The only change on this brush is decreasing the saturation and adding a pink color overlay. All right, so there we go. So let's go ahead and zoom in. And now let's start painting with our brush over the specific area of the lips. Whenever I'm painting in, sometimes I'll avoid the highlight areas because the highlights would still be there and they wouldn't necessarily be a pink color. I'm just going over the actual lip color area, so not the highlight area. Let's bring our flow down to 6, a little bit lower. All right, and there we go. There is our mask for the color of the lips. Now, I would agree with you. I think that this color of the lips is way too 1980s, and it's definitely not what the actual color looked like of the lipstick that the client came in with. So that's not a problem. As I mentioned in a previous lesson, it's very easy to go in and edit any of these brushes while you still have them live. So let's hit the H key so that you can see that this pinpoint is still activated because it's got the black dot in the middle. Now what I want to do is I actually want to come over to my color overlay, or my swatch box, as I've been calling it, swatch box, and I want to change the color from pink, and I actually want to change it to something more red, which is more indicative of the actual color of the lipstick that the client had on during that shoot. So that's good for the color area, but the tone seems to be a little bit bright still. So what we could do in that situation is come to our exposure slider over in our adjustment tool, and then just use our down arrow to make some micro adjustments down to darken the color of the lips. And then there you go. All right, so before, no color on the lips, and after, we've got the original color, and it looks really nice and natural, and we have a happy client. All right, so that's an easy way to just add color in any area that you may need, whether it's above the eyes, you want to add a little bit more eyeshadow in, or you want to add some color to the cheeks, or you want to add some lip color as well. Any of those things are possible, and you can easily edit and change any of the brushes super simply. All right, so let's move on to doing teeth retouching or teeth whitening. So we've got our image here of our model, and as you can see, we just do need to fix a little bit the yellow of the teeth here. So what we'll do in this situation is I have a couple of teeth brushes, and we'll use mouth teeth high for this brush. And then here's one thing that I want to point out to you guys. So a color overlay is not just for doing fun things, right? It's also for doing things where we have to fix a problem in an image. So for this, you wouldn't necessarily think that you would add a color overlay when trying to retouch teeth, but I'm actually doing that with this brush. So what I've done is I've chosen the opposite or complementary color of what yellow teeth are, usually the color tone of yellow teeth, and I've actually used the opposite color, and I've added that as a color overlay so that when I retouch teeth, it just mitigates that color tone or that tinge of that yellow, and it just makes them look really nice and natural, and this does work quite well. Now we're going to go ahead and do that. So you guys have seen what the changes of this brush are so that you can replicate it at home. and then we'll go ahead and zoom out. The only time that I use auto mask for brushes is going to be when I'm doing teeth. So I'll go ahead and click auto mask. And the thing with auto mask is that anywhere that has the hashtag or has the plus sign in the middle of the brush is the exact over the area of where the mask is going to be applied, or where the adjustment or where the change is going to be applied. Anytime you take that plus mark and you hover it over an additional color, let me move my flow all the way up just for this example. So anytime the plus mark is over the teeth, it's not going to go ahead and brighten anything that's not this color of the tooth. But as soon as I hover it over the red color of the gum, you can see that it's starting to add that effect to the red gum area. So because teeth are usually similar in color and they have a very contrasty line between them and what's surrounding them, it's very good. Auto mask is a very good feature to have on when you're doing this. So for this example, I want to turn on my mask overlay so that you guys can actually see how well this auto mask works for this specific thing. And as you can see, I'm never letting the plus mark in the middle of the brush go over any of the gum colors because I don't want it to affect the gums. All right, we're going to move on to this area over here and keep going with the teeth. Always trying to keep that plus mark over, only the areas of the teeth and not the areas of the gums. Alrighty, all set and done. Let's go ahead and okay that. And wow, those are some bright chompers. All right, so obviously we have gone a little bit too far, but it's great because it shows you again one of my super favorite tips, right? Click to access that pinpoint. Let's turn the mask overlay off for this example. We'll come back over to our adjustment brush window over here. We'll close that disclosure arrow, and then we're going to easily decrease the effect of the teeth whitening to make it something nice and natural. That looks right. That looks good. Let's come over to our light switch and just preview the changes that we've made. And yes, that looks excellent. I'm super happy with it, and it didn't take any time at all. All right? So I hope you guys have enjoyed this lesson. Let's move on.